Hey, marketing girls, welcome back to another episode of the Modern Agent Marketing Girls podcast. Today, we are going to do something a little bit different. Chelsea and I have actually been wanting to do this for a little while. We really want to take you guys behind the scenes of our content calls that we get to have with our members every month. So every call is always a little bit different, but our focus is always the same, and that is to equip our agents with the tools and the skills that they're going to need so that they can build brands that take them from seriously being like completely invisible in their market to becoming the go-to agent in their market. On today's call, you're going to hear about upcoming things in the membership, but you're also going to hear about the importance of planting yourself in the right environment. This was like a big mindset shift for a lot of our members, so I'm excited for you to hear it. And then, of course, we're going to go behind the scenes of how we create the content and then how we encourage our members to customize it. You're definitely going to want to have a notebook and pen, or at least open up your notes app, because there's a lot of like ideas in here that you're going to want to write down, save for later for yourself. So honestly, without further ado, let's get into the call and give you guys a little glimpse of life in the membership, but also just like some of our tried and true best advice that we have for you, because we're always rooting you on. How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market, all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Let's get into today's content workshop. We're going to go through just a few housekeeping things, some fun mindset shifts, and then we will, of course, get into the content and how you can start creating the content so that you stand out and get more referrals and connect with more people, how all those micro conversions land you in the macro conversions. But I want to start with this quote that I made up. Instead of showing up like a real estate agent, start showing up like a content creator. Put a 1 in the chat if that makes you feel nervous.
We had a bunch of ones right away.
I know.
Yes.
Put a 2 in the chat though if that makes you feel like, wait a second, I kind of like this. Like, tell me more. I kind of like it. Okay, I of course did a drawing for you guys, so I'm going to unshare my screen for a second. Oh, good. Leah said excited. I did this chart. Okay, so I kind of made 2 columns of like what a realtor does and what a content creator does. So we're not saying don't be a realtor on social media. Of course not. But we are saying create like a content creator. So in the realtor column, I put things like, it's more announcement style content. Have you heard us talk about the trophy room versus the living room? Like if someone comes to your house and you say, hey, come on in, I'm going to show you my trophy room and tell you all these trophies that I've won. That's what sometimes a lot of real estate content can feel like when it's heavy in the look what I did. This is how many houses I sold. Here's my listing. Here's my closing. Here's my documentation of like what I've accomplished, right? That's more of like the announcement style. Whereas the content creators more so showing real life. Like, hey, come along with me. You're in it. We're in it together. I'm going to show you behind the scenes of all the things, real life and real estate. Realtor is more, I'm going to share facts, right? And this isn't like every realtor, but this is like when you get your real estate license and you're thinking, okay, it's time to post on social media. This is the default. Like this is like what everyone's doing, the way we're expected to show up, the way we're expected to post. And some people can feel a lot of resistance with this, but facts. So like, this is the market update. This is our market stats. This is how many houses we sold, blah, blah, blah. Listings, like sharing your listings. It's like almost we treat our Instagram or our social media sometimes like it's the MLS. Like, next house, here's another house. Like no one's logging on Instagram to get a custom home search, but they are going on MLS to access their custom home search, right? But we sometimes transfer that right over to Instagram. Looks like every other agent starts to blend in because we're all kind of posting this same standard of what this should look like. Overly polished, lacking personality, kind of just hiding behind our brokerage or behind the houses, behind the statistics or the facts. And then back over to the content creator section. One of the things that I think is the biggest thing to think about over here, they're constantly getting better at creating content. And that might sound scary too, but the thing is they're showing up in a way that they are putting themselves out there. Their face is in their feed. It feels human. They're building relationships. They're having the conversations. And that is making them better at content because they're building that skill of like, okay, I'm getting better at face to camera. I'm like saying things more effortlessly, or my stories are becoming just like a natural part of my day versus something I'm spending a ton of time on. Or that post that I did recapping my week, like it only took me 5 minutes now because I've been doing it for a month straight or 2 months straight. So they really get better at creating content as they keep showing up versus over here, you're kind of just like almost like in one big boxed in template. Like I'm going to live in this template land and I'm going to do this one, that one. Like even, years ago, another go to was like the testimonial graphic. Like every other post, you're going to do a testimonial graphic. And it's like, no one cares, but that's because they don't care because it has nothing to do with them. The content creator thinks, what's in it for them? Why would someone want to come back here? Why would they remember to come back here? Remember to tap my story bubble? Remember to come in or to talk about even what they saw on my account? Like I think about Kayla and I doing the podcast and how many people we bring up and talk about while we're on the podcast. Like this person did this unique thing, or we loved how this person showed up. And it's because they're sticking in our brains, right? So the content creator is creating content that sticks in the brains of the people they're trying to connect with. A content creator is building a brand. Our new favorite quote is, without a brand, your content won't land. It'll be more over here, right? And then tell stories, shares behind the scenes. This is the content creators posting the memorable, sticky content. And when you think about creating like a content creator, your content just automatically will become better. It'll become stronger. It'll become more you, and it will be a lot more effective. So tell me now, did this help you feel less like I'm less afraid to post over here? Like I'm ready to learn. Put learn in the chat if you're ready to learn how to start doing this or try it.
Love it.
You guys are on fire today. This is so good. Okay, I'm all done with my board now.
Awesome. Okay, so that is going to be the mindset that we're going into this whole training with. But before we start with the actual workshop, we want to give you guys this little special announcement we've been working on. I put in the group last time that something is coming soon, and that is our spring photo challenge. So we have just noticed again and again and again over the last several months that one of the biggest hangups agents have with customizing any content, or even just with like showing up in stories or anything, is the lack of like personal photos of yourself. And so we've been putting together, those little like media list cards that we include every month to kind of challenge you to take a few new photos. And that I think has helped a lot of people. But this next week, we want to get like so locked in and so ready to finally check this thing off of our list. How would it feel if by the end of next week, you knew that you could open up your phone and open up a folder and literally find 35 photos of yourself that are ready to use for social media? How would that feel to you? A game changer. Would love that. Absolutely. So much easier. So much easier. Yeah. But that can be the biggest hang up. And what's hard, I don't know, some people I think feel more comfortable in front of the camera. Some people feel like they don't. Catherine said amazeballs. I love it. So I know that we can all feel like this different, we have a different relationship with the camera. But I will say we all know by now that a personal brand is a non-negotiable for a real estate agent, right? Because of that, one of the easiest ways to add a splash of your personal brand is to literally just add a photo of yourself. So if we could get you to a place where you had so many photos of yourself that you could draw from, and maybe even make this like a quarterly thing where, hey, just for this 1 week, I'm going to focus on this thing and have like one photo day and get it all done so I don't have to worry about it for a while. That would just like be like a weight off your shoulders. And I feel like you could go through the next several months without having to worry about like taking more content or taking more photos or whatever. So if you guys open up the website and you guys log in, you will find under the April content now, and you're also going to see it in next week's marketing plan. But when you log in to April's content plan, one of the first things you're going to see is the spring photo challenge. So when you open that up, it's a 16-page workbook that's going to break down the days, Sunday through Saturday, exactly what you're going to do. Now, before we even get started, I know that there are some of you who are like, shoot, I'm really busy next week, or I'm gone next week, or whatever. That's totally fine. Our goal is that we can go through this together as a group, so we all like get a lot of momentum and clarity and like motivation from each other. But also, if you can't do this for another 3 weeks, that's okay too. We're going to have all of this, like the resource for you available on the website, so you can go to it at any time. But our goal is for all of us to truly lock in and like to be able to brainstorm together too. You're going to find in here, there are like ideas for like locations you could go to, or different brand props you could bring, the outfits you want to wear. Maybe as you're reading through this, you're thinking to yourself, I have no idea. Like, what would a brand prop be if this is my brand? That's what we want to have the discussions based on in the Facebook group next week. So I'll be adding some props or some prompts for the next week that are all about like corresponding with each one of these days, so that we can all stay on task if we're going to go through this. But my goal is that if we can like get hyper focused on this and like obsess over getting really good photos, and you're going to have like the exact photos we want you to recreate by the end of next week, like literally by next Friday, you are going to be done with your photos. By Saturday's marketing plan, today's suggestion thing is literally like, go get yourself a treat. You did it. Like literally, like we want you to work so hard to get this done, and then you don't have to worry about it for a while. So how does that sound to everybody who is available next week, who wants to get locked in and like finally get this done, get this elephant off your back once and for all?
Jessa gave a thumbs up from her car. It looks like she's driving. I love it.
Oh, yay. I love it.
Okay, locked
Yay.
in. Yes. Perfect.
Awesome. So I'm going to record a separate podcast on the members only podcast that I'll make available, I think, by Thursday. So you'll be able to listen to that. I'm going to focus that just on the spring photo challenge. And then next week, I'll still have some prompts in there for like actual posts for you to post, especially if you aren't able to participate in this at that time. That's totally fine. But I'll have a separate thing there for you, so that way you can really get like locked in. We can walk through every single day together. But we make sure that we're all on target, we're all on the same page. And then we can go from there. But I will tell you, one of the first things in this challenge is to find someone that you can partner up with to take photos. So it can literally be like your husband, it can be your kid, it can be a friend, it can be another agent, it can be whoever. That'll be one of like the very first things we want you to do. So be thinking already like, who could I ask to meet up? And my idea is like, ask them to meet up and then treat them to lunch afterwards and have fun. Or if it's another agent, you could be like, I'll grab photos of you too. Like we can do this together. I always feel like it's so much easier and more fun and less intimidating if you're working with someone that you like love hanging out with. So Marty said, oh Lord, not my husband. I would be the same way. My husband would be like, this is weird. Are we done yet? This is like narcissistic, taking so many photos of yourself. But he's not a content creator, so it's all good.
Do you know what would be such a good piece of content though? If you were like, hey, come with me to get brand real estate photos, and my husband's a photographer, and you had like a phone set up behind the scenes, capturing him, not being able to very well capture you. Like that would be hilarious content.
My husband would straight up just zoom in on my butt in every photo just to like make a joke about it. So yeah, I wouldn't ask him either. But I do have realtor friends that I would ask for sure. So I'm so excited about this. We're going to talk more about this. Again, you're going to get that separate podcast. And we are Amy Barton Cottney. That's who it is.
Yes. Thank you.
But then we'll also go through this next week together. But we're so excited for this. I really hope that it's helpful. But meanwhile, you guys can download the workbook from the website, and we will have a lot of fun next week.
You know, also, as you have access to this plan right now, I would go grab it and just like read through it, skim through it, even though we're not doing it till next week, and just like let those little, like even the week plan, the Sunday through Saturday, soak into your brain, and then you're going to be more equipped. Has anyone ever watched a workout video before they work out? Or am I crazy? Like put a 1 in the chat. Like I just want to see what I have in store for me tomorrow, right? Like that's kind of how it is. You kind of just know what to expect. You know what you're getting into. You won't be like, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday and I never did that, or I don't have this, or I should have ordered this shirt or whatever. Like you'll just be a little bit more prepared. Not that you have to order things, but
yeah. Very
This
good.
is a really good question. I'm going to answer this right now. I don't always like to answer questions during, but Brittany Bierman said, okay, quick question. Are we as members listening to both podcasts? I do feel like sometimes we already know some stuff on the public one from these workshops and members only. I do enjoy them both, but with time, just wondering if I'm not missing something from the main one. I mean, my method is if I go all in with someone, I'm listening to every single piece of content they put out there. And yes, you could get behind or it could get overwhelming. If you're following the weekly marketing plan, I would stick with the members only podcast as a primary and then do the marketing girls as like when you're in your car going to a showing or whatever, The Marketing Girls podcast, a lot of it's mindset, a lot of it's reminders, a lot of it's like encouragement because you'll hear an idea or you'll hear a takeaway or a story or something like a metaphor, where the members only podcast is more direct to the point. Here's what we're doing this week. Here's this
Mhm.
little shift to think about it to make it work for you or whatever. So they are different, but I think that when you immerse yourself in the whole modern agent culture as a whole, you're going to just that little thing that you take away from each episode will just keep driving you closer to your goal and making you show up every day and just staying consistent.
Awesome. Okay. If you are new here, maybe you don't know yet, but we also have a launch your listing section on the website. If you haven't done it yet, we have a whole workbook and a little video that goes over just creative ways to launch your listing and to like not only get your listing in front of a bunch of people, but also to market your business alongside that so that your one listing can turn into multiple listings. That is this workbook. And then we have a bunch of like corresponding posts to help you market your listing, help you talk about it in stories, even talk about like closing day posts, that kind of thing. But we recently just added a bunch of new posts to that are totally different from what you find in the monthly menu as well. So if you have a listing coming up, or if you have something that you want to like do, or if you already had a listing and you just want to figure out a way to share about it, you can go through some of these. There's a lot of new ones here and lots of fun ideas.
Awesome. Yes. These are things people aren't posting out there. So they're things that are going to make you stand out. Just make someone stop their scroll and be like, wait, what is this? Like, our goal with listing content on Instagram or on social media is to just get someone to be curious. Like, wait, what about this house? What is she saying about it? Like, some of our hooks just invite that attention because it's not MLS, it's not Zillow, it's Instagram. So we want people to come in as if they're coming into our living room, we're sitting down, we're pouring them a glass of wine or getting them a sparkling water, and we're like, hey, I had this listing and like this is the thing that keeps coming up, or this feature is so awesome. Like, you're not showing them a PowerPoint presentation, you're not opening MLS, you're just having the conversation. So this type of content invites that conversation. It opens up the conversation loop, but you don't have to think of it on your own. You should have to plug it in with your brand and your listing. So that's what makes it much more doable. Okay, we have 2 more member wins that we're going to walk through because we love to share what you guys share with us. Like, we love seeing how excited you are putting your wins in the Facebook group. So Alyssa said, I just want to offer you guys some encouragement to keep posting about your life, even if you think your life is too boring or you think others won't share your interests. I'm on track to have my best year in real estate yet, and every single one of my clients has come from social media in one way or another. I'm a huge nerd who posts about playing D&D, MTG, and reading. I live in a small military town and never thought others would relate to me or that social media would work for me the way it does others in larger areas. That's such an objection that we hear all the time. My town is too small. I'm afraid my life is boring. I'm afraid I won't relate. She just handled 10 objections in this post. 2 of those clients who found me on social chose to go with me because of my nerdiness and playing of D&D. One of them is my highest house under contract ever at over $500,000. Don't give up. So yay, Alyssa. Congratulations. And if you're on this
Just be
call,
chills.
yeah, I know. I'm so happy that you not only shared that, but that you are having these results. And then the second one is from Jody. I love how like also our members are so amazing. Like, hey, I want to offer encouragement. Hey, friendly reminder. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I swear this is the nicest Facebook group on the internet. And I'm not saying that because it's our community. You guys are the ones that are making it that way.
Mhm.
So thank you to all of you. But Jody said, friendly reminder to post it scared and post it when it's imperfect. I finally posted a video yesterday and love the 2 comments so far, both from people I rarely interact with. And that is the goal. So
Yeah, so good.
amazing.
Okay, I wanted to offer you one bit of encouragement here before we really dive in. But maybe you saw it on the stories yesterday too, if you followed Modern Agent. But the truth is, like, where you plant yourself matters, right? We talked even on the podcast, I think last week, about how like getting in rooms with people that are sharper than you and maybe better at you in something or more advanced than you, it can feel intimidating and it can feel like, oh, I don't belong here, or like, this is too, why is this so much harder for me, or whatever. But those are the rooms where you actually grow in. So I use this example. A couple weeks ago, I planted a couple of different flowers that were just like the tiny little bulbs. I planted them, and I've just been having fun like watching them grow. And so I've had this little one on my windowsill, and this was the first one to pop up. If you can see it here, it's got about like an inch or so of growth, and I was so excited about it. I had 2 others that didn't even grow, but this one started. It's about an inch long so far, and I've been like so thrilled with it. But meanwhile, I also planted another bulb from the same batch in a bigger pot. And honestly, I thought, I feel like this is too big for it, because if I water it, is all the water just going to go down and not even like touch the plant, and then the roots aren't going to whatever. But I didn't have any other pot to put it in, so I just put it in there. So while I was so excited about this one, and this was the one that's been doing so well, this one blew me out of the water. And this was literally planted at the exact same time as this one. So you can see a difference between like a 1 inch worth of growth versus like 8 to 10 inches worth of growth, and multiple flowers growing from that, right? Why does this matter? This matters because all of you who are here, especially if you are newer here and maybe you have felt like, can I actually do this? Like, am I actually capable of this? Or like, I'm still feeling overwhelmed, or I'm still feeling like other agents are so far ahead of me, or whatever. Planting yourself in a pot that is much bigger than you is the key to having room to grow. I am convinced that this plant here, this bulb, because it had more room to grow roots and to grow deeper, even though this did not pop up before this one. Actually, it was probably about a week after this one started to sprout, that the big one started to sprout. But because it was able to take root and it was able to do a lot of things under the surface that this little guy really couldn't, look at the growth in that. So when we talk about, if yes, you could do like short-term business where you're like paying for leads and then you're just pay at close or whatever, and you can get all of that stuff. That works, and you can get results like this with a little pot. But the method that we're teaching you is the big pot. So you're going to have times when you feel like, is anything happening? Like, I feel like all I'm doing is working on my brand, or I feel like all I'm doing is like just trying to have conversations or whatever. But those are all like those roots that are going down over and over and over again. This is what's coming. Like, this is what's coming. Put a little emoji in the chat if that makes you excited, because I am super pumped for your growth. I'm so excited that you're here. I want to continue to be the kind of person who also puts myself in rooms with people who are way smarter than me so that I can learn more, so that we can come back here and learn more too. But this is what's coming, and I'm so excited for you guys to get there. I can't wait to watch y'all grow. There's your spring analogy.
Your spring analogy. I love it. And honestly, with that analogy in anything, even like when you get from here to there, then you're to the next phase and you kind of go back down into the soil again. Like it's kind of this constant, like we never, if you have a business, if you want to keep growing or you want to keep improving or maintaining, like you don't just give up, right? You have to keep nurturing, keep watering, keep growing, keep investing in yourself, keep taking care of yourself. This analogy also, just FYI, all the metaphors and analogies that we use here in the podcast, wherever, use them with your sellers, use them with your buyers. You can use that same analogy with a seller who like maybe, or a buyer who bought a house and they feel maybe a little intimidated and they're worried, am I going to get the equity out of this? Is this a good idea? Like, and it's about the long-term investment, right? Like if they buy the home and they don't touch anything and they don't maintain it, they're going to have no growth from it. They're going to have no equity from it. They're probably going to go the opposite way. But when you buy the home and you take care of it and you live in it and you make it yours and you get into your community, like so much blooms from that. So you can really use our analogies with your own clients, and they really do just make them think differently. Just like you guys said, someone said I'm obsessed with your brain in the chat.
Good visuals.
Yes. Okay, so here's one more thing to remember, and it really ties hand in hand with the plant analogy, but the actions that are going to lead you to the biggest results are really a culmination of things that are pretty easy to do, but they're also really easy not to do. If you think about just little things in life, like it could be really easy to wake up and it's raining and to say, ugh, like it's raining again. Or you could wake up and say, oh, it's raining. I'm going to light a candle and I'm going to write, or I'm going to read, or I'm going to listen to an audiobook. Like it's little tiny things, and then habits and actions. Like instead of having my coffee first, I'm going to have my water first. Instead of choosing this thing to eat, I'm going to have a salad first. Instead of, sitting at my desk all day, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk, because 10 minutes is better than 0. But because those things are so easy to do, most people also don't do them. I think the statistic is like, I want to say 95% of people don't do them. But the same thing is true with marketing, with everything we're talking about here. A lot of the little things you do, like showing up in your story, sharing rolling out your sourdough and just talking to the camera after you get back from showing houses or get back from a long day, like, and just getting your face on there. Like that's little, but it compounds. emailing your email list. Like it feels kind of little, but it compounds when you email every single week and they're seeing you every single week. When you add your brand to a piece of content, it might feel little. Like, does anyone really care that I'm talking about being a mom and a realtor? Like, no one even liked it. But when you keep doing it, it keeps growing. The brand starts growing. Like you tell people what to say, you tell people what to think. So it's that compound effect of these little micro actions that result in the conversation, result in the comment, result in someone saying, I want to get your emails. I want that local guide. Hey, do you know what I should do if I'm thinking about buying in this area? Like it's every little tiny seed that you plant. That's what gives you the bountiful harvest, not just one thing at a time. It's the compound of everything together. So sometimes when we think like, I should probably do that, but like, not today. Like, I want you to think of it in reverse. But if I just did that one little thing today that might only take me 5 minutes, this is going to just drastically change the direction of where I'm going, right? Kayla, what example you just shared in the member podcast this week? If a ship changes direction by 1 degree,
Yeah,
they'll
it ends
end
up
up on a
thousands
completely
of miles.
different
Mhm.
1,000 miles away from where they were trying to go. So if you think of that in terms of your marketing, can you explain that again? Because
Yeah. Well, yeah, the whole idea is if a ship goes off course even 1 degree, that it will end up in a completely different location than it set out to set sail for. So in a negative way, that can be like, hey, if you just do these bad things, then eventually you're going to be like, why isn't it working? But also in a positive way, if like, even if you're listening to all of this today and you're like, I don't have time to do this, or I'm not quite ready to share this, or I that feels a little out of my body. If you can just make a 1 degree shift in what you're sharing and do a little bit of a 1 degree shift every day, every week, you are going to end up someplace that you never dreamed of going because you did that. It is the little things, and it does take time, right? It does take time, but it's worth it, especially when you're planting roots like this. This is worth it. It was worth waiting another week to see this begin to sprout just for this kind of growth. And the same is true for you.
okay, guys, we're ready to get into the content now. Are you excited to talk April content? This is a content workshop, but we have a lot to talk about before we get here, as
And
always.
yes, that is the slight edge, Kaylin.
That is the slight edge. Honestly, the slight edge, and ever since I read this book, every area of my life, I'm like, I don't really want to work out today, but I could just do like a 20-minute walk, or I could go outside, or I could eat this before that. Like I could post this really quick, or I can get on my stories for a second. Like it's making everything that can seem so big or like to-do list style feel like it's not that big of a deal. Like that will only take me a minute. That'll only take 2 seconds. I can eat the salad before my taco, whatever. Like it just makes it seem so much simpler. But that's what the slight edge is. It's really all of just the ordinary little things that every one of us has access to. We all have the same hours in a day. We all sleep. We all eat. We all have something to drink. We all go to work. We all do all these things. But it's like, how are we choosing to make the day flow? How are we choosing the mini micro choices within the day that are adding up after a month, after 12 months, after 5 years, right? That makes such a huge difference. So,
For sure. We are going to go over a few of these posts, but if there's anything specific from April content that you're like, I was really hoping you were going to talk about this, put it in the chat. We'd love to get to it. We want to make sure we get all your questions answered. But these were just a few posts that we picked out just to kind of go through how you can customize them, what this can look like for you, all the things.
let us know out of these that I have up on the screen if there's one you want us to go through first. We can go in your desired order.
Post 29, Jessa said.
Okay, let's do it. I'll pull it up.
Okay, can go over it. So this one is really fun. It's my unfiltered ratings as a city name real estate agent. So what's so cool about this post is it's like that perfect content s'more that we've talked about at camp before, where it's like a layer of real estate, a layer of personal brand, and a layer of local, all combined in one. What we have here, like what Randy made for you, is literally just like the starting point. Chelsea used this analogy not too long ago about how like we want you to look at all of our content as if it's a picture frame. Like if you go to like Hobby Lobby to buy a new picture frame because you have this picture of your kids that you really want to frame, if you find a frame that you love, but inside is like a stock photo of a dog, that doesn't keep you from buying the frame because you know you're going to replace that and add your own picture to it, right? The same is true here. So everything that you're seeing here, just remember, we want you to look at all of our content with like modern agent eyes, where you see not only the posts, because you're going to see some that are just like nail it, they're just like, that's exactly how I would say it. That's exactly like the font that I love. That's exactly whatever. You're going to see others that you're like, hold on, just give me a minute. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to analyze this and I'm going to figure out what are like a few little tweaks I can make to make this look and sound exactly like me. So this is one of those posts. So my unfiltered ratings as a city name agent. When we go through it, there's a couple of different things. So like open floor plans, 8 out of 10. Maybe you hate open floor plans. So obviously you want to change that rating, right? If you want to make it like a 2 out of 10, that's fine. And then you can change the explanation there. The next one is working from local spot, 15 out of 10. I love this one because it's that local layer and everyone's local spot is going to be different. Tell me in the chat if you had to fill out this post and you were like, where's one spot locally that I would like work from, whether it's like a coffee shop, a restaurant, wherever, what would you say? Like, what's the name of the place? I want to see it in the chat. I know mine would be our library. I love when, especially when my kids were still home from school, I love taking them there. And then I would go sit in the corner on my laptop and get work done while they played. Okay, yeah, lots of coffee shops or whatever. She's currently working there. I love these names of these coffee shops.
Beer Me Tap Room. That's so cute.
Sign me up. Pettibone Coffee, Remedy Coffee Shop, Well Coffee, West Pecan, Tremont. Yeah, like it's so fun. And that's what's so cool is like all of us are going to have different answers. So even if other agents are posting the same kind of content, it's not going to look the same because we're talking about different places. So especially if you got a photo of you working at a place like this, adding that there is like one way to set yourself apart too. And it just reminds people as people are scrolling through your content, they're seeing not only this agent that like is a busy working agent is an obvious thing, but they're also seeing like, oh, that's exactly where I like to go, or like that's what I order, or that's like my favorite shop, or they could think like they don't even drink coffee, but they drive by that shop every day, like they know exactly where you would be. It just plants those seeds of trust that like tell them that you're a legit person, that you're not like some AI whatever, or that you can be trusted.
It also can invite questions like, where is that? Where are you? Is that
Right.
this coffee shop? I love that. Like,
Exactly.
I love inviting questions into your content. And that's like an easy way to do it. That like sometimes we think if we want someone to say something, we should say like, comment this for, if you want to know more or whatever. And sometimes it's just like the natural way of doing this invites way more conversation because it doesn't feel prompted or like it's scripted or like it's designed for someone to comment. It just, they can't help but comment.
Yeah, exactly. Randy made a good point. She said, remember to tag the local place if they have an Instagram account. That's like one of the easiest ways to get new eyes on your content is like by tagging. And this is what's so cool. Like what you just said, Chelsea, it's so genuine. It's not like you're tagging someone like, please like me, please follow me. But you're like, hey, I love working here. Like what coffee shop owner doesn't want to hear that? So love that one. Okay, the next one. HOAs, 6 out of 10. They can protect values. They can definitely test patience. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. But again, adjust this to how you are. Maybe you're someone who sells a lot of like homestead land. So maybe you could either use this and be like HOAs, 0 out of 10. Or I've always seen people to post like prison out of 10, like something like a little bit more obscure that makes people be like, what? But obviously that's how much you hate it. And then you could just talk about like, give me 100 acres over an HOA any day, or the opposite too, right? So again, tweak this to be true for you, for your market, for who you serve. Okay, next, traffic on I-25, negative 12 out of 10. So same kind of thing. So updating this, maybe you're in a place that you're like, we don't have traffic. Like, what are you talking about? It could be like pothole at the Kroger parking lot. Like you can literally think of things that you in real life, talking to real people in your community, what do you talk about? That's the kind of stuff that you put in there, because when you put that stuff in that's so specific, you're going to first of all repel anyone who's nowhere near you, who would never hire you anyway. But you're going to draw in all of those people who are like, oh my gosh, like I've been complaining about that too. Or like, yes, finally, I'm not the only one who feels that way. Like that's the kind of content, that kind of content right there is what gets shared. Like people are like, thank you, someone said it so I didn't have to, right? Do you have another example for this at all, Chelsea? I feel like there's what you could do with this. As we're talking about all of this, I feel like we would be doing everyone a giant disservice if we didn't stop and invite them to camp.
Camp Modern Agent is coming back March 23rd. And this is where we're going to go even deeper on everything we talk about in these episodes, where you're going to learn how to get clarity around what this means for you personally, because we know that that's like the sticky point, right? Like we talk every week on these episodes, and then what?
Right. So keep listening, but as you're listening, go to our show notes and click on the camp link. You can sign up right there. You'll get emails all about it, but we couldn't let this conversation go on without telling you about it.
Go to modernagentsocialclub.com/camp, and we can't wait to see you there. I would, yeah, you could do, see, this one doesn't relate to me because I feel like where I live, there's not a ton of traffic, but you might say, like, what is a really beautiful scenic drive? Like, and then rate it high out of 10. Or that says 12 out of 10. Like, I might say, like, driving along 83 with the fall leaves, or on a summer day with the windows down, or something like that, and then be like 12 out of 10. So, like, you can relate it to your area, or even like if there's like a really cute, you could even do like a park, like you could change it drastically to something else, like this park on a sunny day, 12 out of 10. And again, thinking through like people that live here, they're going to be like, yeah, me too, or I love doing that, or that is the best spot, right?
Yeah.
It's all about that naturally prompting them to be like, I agree.
Yes, exactly. Brittany said getting stuck behind a tractor. I can relate to that for sure. Gas line at Costco, the Campers Association. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, all of us, again, all of us are going to look different, but all of us are speaking to the people who are most likely to be able to hire us as an agent, right? That's the whole goal.
Is this supposed to be a 2 out of 10?
It's supposed to be, it's negative 12.
Negative 12. Sorry. I was looking at the next post, and as you said that, I was like, wait. Why is that a 12? That's why I went a positive route. But you could, if you see a negative one, you could flip it to a positive too.
Yep, exactly. Well, that's kind of what this one is too. So
Yes.
lake is 1,000 out of 10. If you don't live with a place with lakes, maybe you've got mountains, maybe you've got cornfields, maybe you like whatever it is, like rate it your honest rating, but make it something that feels like true. If you're like, oh my gosh, if you're like a sports mom and right now you're like sitting at baseball diamonds, you could be like, diamond views or whatever, like, or Saturday morning views, like wherever you are, like make it true to you and make it something that's relatable for other people. There's limitless possibilities. The limit does not exist. The limit does not exist.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next one.
Is this making sense to you guys of how your brand plugs into this based on like things that you love? So if you go back to where you fill out your brand direction section on the member site and you kind of look through what these things are, like go-to beverage or something from your morning routine, an accessory, a spot to film, a local spot or two, like all these things that are in here, as you go through the template to like fill it in, that's where you're like, oh, well, this makes sense because I'm trying to connect with other local moms, or this would make sense because I spend my Saturday here. And that's where it becomes, the more you do it, you're building that skill, you're getting better at it, it's getting faster. And then all of a sudden you're like, I can whip up a piece of content in 5 minutes, right? And it almost comes more natural and off the fly than like I'm overthinking how to create this. You're more like, this is so me, and this makes so much sense, and this feels very easy to create, and it will feel even easier after the spring refresh photo challenge, or refresh spring photo challenge.
That's one thing we haven't mentioned yet. So all of these obviously have photos attached to them. Now, a lot of them are from like our content photos that we provide you with. You're totally welcome to use those. But also we definitely encourage you, like, look through your own camera roll and see what's there. Maybe like this one right here. This says open shelving, 6 out of 10. Maybe you're like, I don't have like pictures of open shelving on my thing, which I don't know of a realtor who might not have a picture like that. But if you really truly don't have one, maybe instead you use this opportunity to say, Dr. Pepper from McDonald's drive-thru, 1,000 out of 10 or whatever. Like you can completely change it to make it true to you according to your camera roll. Our goal for you as modern agents is eventually all the inspiration that you need will not come from scrolling Instagram or will not come from ChatGPT. It's going to come from your own camera roll because you're spending so much time being so much more diligent and intentional documenting your life that eventually like you're going to look at your camera roll and be like, that's it. That's my brand. Like, that's what I want it to look like. You're going to get better and better at this. So I love, Kristen said, when you guys give examples, it helps me start thinking how it relates to my brand. Absolutely. So yeah, that's what we want you to do. So again, if you're like, I'm in a hurry, I've got a meeting in a minute, I just haven't posted in a week, that's what this stuff is here for you guys to quickly do it. But also if you can spend even 5 or 10 minutes on a post, just like tweaking things, thinking to yourself, how can I incorporate the things that I say I want my brand to be? That's going to make your post so much more like magnetic and like much more memorable.
I was also going to add in if you love this post, but you're like, like there's just too many pages, you
Mhm.
can just delete, like save the ones you want, tweak it to what you want it to be, and keep it really short and simple. Sometimes short and sweet is really good on Instagram right now. There's so much content, there's so much out there. You go on for one thing and all of a sudden you're down a rabbit hole looking at something else. Like that is part of Instagram. So knowing that, like you can shorten these to what you want them to be, but we like to give you lots of examples and options. And certainly this could be as long as this is too. But even this one, when you think about your ideal client, like if you mostly help move up buyers who like the person you would love to sell more houses to or get more referrals from, like think about like the feature they're looking for and plug that into content when you see it like this. Or if it's like a neighborhood spotlight type post, like what features do they really want a pool? Do they really want a bigger yard? Do they want privacy? Do they want, do they want less open concept because the house is just too loud and chaotic and crazy, or do they want open concept so the whole family's together? Like you can really lean into who you're trying to attract by like plugging into this right here. Like maybe a lot of the people you help just love interior design, and this is like such a relatable one, right? But you can also change it to like what someone's thinking or what someone might really relate and resonate to.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, just the last one is just a little slide here. You can always add something to a slide that's just like a call to action. So if you've got a local guide or if you did our spring guide or whatever, you could add a little image of that and say, like, comment this for that if you've already set those things up. We used to include those a lot more in the content. And then we found some agents weren't posting the whole post because they didn't have that one thing done. So instead of just telling them to delete that, we just quit putting it on there. But if you already have your email list set up, and if you have any kind of guide ready, you can always include some kind of call to action to one of the end slides that prompts them to take that next step with you. But also, it's also okay just to share something and just be like, hey, this is who I am, follow along, or tell me your hot take below, or what would you rate this? Like, it's always okay just to be human too and not make everything this like business transaction.
Honestly, a good strategy is to not always be thinking about a strategy. Like that's also part of
Mm-hmm.
being just the human part of Instagram, right? So I've seen a lot of people too say, what if I don't have an email list? I don't have a guide yet. Then this is the perfect plugin at the end. Like, why would someone want to follow you? Give them that quick little reminder. This is what I share. This is what you can expect, and click if you want more of that, right? And this is like almost the one I would want to lead with the most. A lot of times people converting to like join your email list or get a guide. Yes, that could come through a post, but even more powerfully, it will come through your stories because those people already know you, are warmed up to you. So I like to kind of save those things a lot of times for stories and keep this more like, let's just keep building community around it. But I've also done, here's a bonus little idea, a choose your own adventure end slide where it's like, follow me for more XYZ, or comment local if you want my guide about blah blah blah. Like you can have two different options, and then that way someone who already follows you could say I do want that, or someone who doesn't follow you could be like I don't know what that is, but I'm going to click follow. So you're just like, I love choose your own adventure in anything. It makes it more fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, this one next. I used to hide the fact. This is today's prompt actually on our website. Today's suggestion. Have you posted this one yet? Put a 1 in the chat, or did you see it and it's on your list? Okay. I used to hide the fact that I only sold X homes per year.
Yeah, she
Oh
just said
my
she's getting
God.
it ready for today. Is it screwed up for you? That's one thing that you guys can do, by the way. As we are going through some of these, we just pull a few different ones and like to go through them. But literally, as we're doing that, you guys can pull up your own Canva at the same time and like customize as we are giving you ideas. That way, you're not like just taking a bunch of notes and then working on it later. You're more than welcome to make this like total workshop style. Get working. If you have a specific question, throw it out there. Some of these questions, like Allie just asked a really good question, but one that we want to get into more later. So I told her to ask me again later. But yeah, but at the end, we'll definitely do a Q&A.
Okay. For this post, I used to hide the fact that I only sold X homes per year. You can do this so many different ways. So if you don't want to talk about the number of homes, you could change the hook to whatever makes sense for you. So you could look at it from two different angles. One angle would be I only sold like 10 houses this year. I used to hide that fact, right? Or maybe I used to hide the fact that I was new. I used to hide the fact that I do things I don't do things the traditional way. So you can kind of take this and think, what is important to me and how I show up or in like the business I'm running, and how could I use this to kind of highlight that in like flip it to the positive, right? So if it's, I used to hide the fact that I only sold 10 homes per year, but then I realized I don't want to be a top producer. I want every client to feel like they're my only client because they receive top tier service, quick responses, and my best advice. I want to spend time with family. I want to take days off and take care of myself. I want to show up as the best agent, mom, friend, sister, and wife that I possibly can. So you can change that to whatever fits you, right? If I had to manage 100 transactions per year, my paychecks would be bigger, but my life wouldn't be richer. The other way you could flip this, though, is maybe you are sitting there like, well, I like selling more homes, or I want to sell more homes than that, or I do sell more homes than that. That's why there's the X. But you could flip this around to be more directed at like, that's why I hired a team to support me to make sure a ball doesn't get dropped, but we can still serve the clients who choose to work with us. Or that's why I am part of this thing. Like you can bring something into it talking about how the way you run your business supports this goal or the business that you have. Like, how are you making sure clients are served in the best way possible? That can be addressed regardless of what number goes under X, right? If it's maybe like I used to hide the fact that I sold 100 homes per year because I thought people would think I'm too busy for them. But then I realized I want people to know I have a team of agents that I have trained and blah, 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 that help support every single client so that we are part of every single piece of the transaction and no ball gets dropped and no whatever. So you can really curate this to how you want it to be. If on this page, for example, I want to spend time with my family, take days off, take care of myself, show up as the best agent, mom, friend, sister, and wife that I possibly can. You could change that also to fit why you sell a lot of houses. So like you can go either way with this, but it's just a cool way to just walk people through why your business is what it is, right? Or like I even the you could go the angle of like I used to want to be a top producer. Here's why I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could go into top producers work 24/7, were never home with their family, always seem to be juggling a million things. Just felt like another agent whose sign was in the next yard as you drove down the neighborhood. Then I realized being a top producer didn't mean any of those things. Being a top producer just meant that you helped a lot of people buy real estate. So you can, if you know your brand direction, you could plug your brand direction into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and plug this into ChatGPT and say, can you help me tweak this, how this is written to fit my brand? So if, you know, your brand is mom life, or what else would it be in here? I guess this really wouldn't fit it, but you could, it would help you kind of tweak the angle you want to go. Like I sell this many homes, help me tweak this post to fit my brand. In fact, one of our members, Chelsea Harold, actually did this post last night. I'm going to show you hers. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm. I love how hers turned out.
Yeah. I sell about 40 to 50 houses a year. I could sell 100. I choose not to do it alone. In real estate, everyone's chasing the top producer title. And honestly, it makes me cringe because volume for the sake of volume was never the point. Building a business that actually supports my life was. That means every client feels like my only client. That means I'm present for my kids. That means I take days off without everything falling apart. So you see how she kind of followed the same flow, but just changed the words to fit her style. Because honestly, like you could think about anything can be an objection. Like the fact that you don't sell that many houses could be an objection. The fact that you sell too many houses could be an objection from someone. The fact that you don't have a team or that you do have a team. So you're kind of using this just to say like, this is why I do things the way I do them. And what it does is it attracts people to you who think like, that really aligns with me. I like how she operates as a business owner. And no one can really copy this post of yours because no one has the same essentially hook that you're going to have, right?
Exactly. Carol said in the comment, she said, I changed this to, I used to hide the fact that I didn't want to sell 50 houses per year. And she had a lot of good engagement from that. That's really good too.
I love that. Does anyone have any questions on this one before we continue?
Or if you're trying to figure out how to like customize it for yourself, or if you have done it, it's fun to see. It's fun to see what other people do. I thought before it'd be fun to put together like a swipe file of something of like what agents have actually done with our content so that you can see, oh yeah, there is so much I can do with this. There's more here than what we think. Betsy, yeah, so genuine, so honest. Absolutely. That's what I like too. And I like what I really like about posts like this is it's the heart of the matter, no matter if you're a brand new agent or if you have been, if you've sold a million homes. Like the heart of the matter is this. So that's why we always say like Modern Agent honestly is for like everyone if you care to connect with people and build a business based on relationships, because you tweak things and make it your own. You swap out the picture for the picture frame, right? I love that,
Yeah.
AJ. That's cool. Okay, let's go to the next one. I will do post 24. Post 24, this is one we purposely put several different examples in here just to really show you guys all the true potential with the content. So post 24, the one that you're going to see, and some of you might see this post and think, oh, I don't have a dog, so this doesn't pertain to me. But it says neighborhoods to look in if you love your dog more than life. So put a 1 in the chat if you're like, yep, this would absolutely be me. Put a 2 in the chat if you're like, can't relate, don't know what you're talking about. All of us are, there are a lot of good dog people here. Look at you guys. You're showing up. Everyone's a dog person. Yay. Okay, Ali said I can't relate. So what's so cool about this post, if you look through it, it says neighborhoods to look in if you love your dog. You're okay.
I wanted to show them there. I wanted to show you guys for all the dog people. Jason Tardik just bought a house, and I was trying to find the reel. He showed the beginning where it was like his old yard versus their new yard, and it showed like his old yard, and then the new yard's of course like sprawling and beautiful. But like I posted this on our stories, and I said people don't buy houses for the data, they buy it for the lifestyle. So like lead with the lifestyle, and you will attract so many more people who are like, yes, that's me, or like feel so inspired by the content that you're sharing. And I will try to find it and send it in the replay email. But that's brought that to mind with the neighborhoods to look in if you love your dog more than life. Go ahead, Kayla. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, you're fine. Okay, so first of all, you could look at this post and you could think, okay, I don't have a dog, but I have a cat. But also, what kind of neighborhood is better for a cat? That's not as like relatable. It could be like if you love your morning coffee or morning latte more than life, and you're close to some local coffee shops. You could say if you love maybe like your kids more than life, and you know there's a really good park down the road, or there's great schools or whatever. Like you can take this one thing and tweak the dog part to be a million different things just for it to suit you. And then as you go to like the next page, it kind of just says like the reasons why. So it's like the neighborhood name, it has the best walking paths or the big high fenced in backyards or whatever. So that's one way that you can customize this. Another way that you can customize it is literally like take the frame, take the base of the hook and add a little bit more to it. So the next one is, if you keep scrolling a little bit more, Chelsea.
Oh, I'll do it. Okay.
Yep. So neighborhoods to look in if you want a move-in ready home. So it's the same idea of you just sharing some neighborhoods and where they could look, but you're talking to your actual people. So if you want people who are maybe like they're busy families who like don't want to flip a house, like they want to move in and then get settled because they have things to do, that's a great way to word it, right? You obviously could word it to be like neighborhoods to look in if you want a lake home, neighborhoods to move in if you want a starter home, if you want like fill in the blank with what works for you, and then add your photo, add your personality to it, whatever. And then all of a sudden, people are going to see your post and they're going to see another agent who posted this quote unquote same post. They're not even going to realize it was the same thing because there's so much you can do with it. That's why we say like once you develop these like modern agent eyes and you really start to like analyze the parts of the post that work and don't work, you're going to see that you actually have 10 times more content available on our website than what you ever thought you had before, because there's always little tweaks you can make. There's always little things you can say. If we ever put something on here that's like even the last one that we just did, like I only sold, X amount of homes. If you are like, no, I sell like 100 homes a year, then just say, okay, I'll take that, but I'm going to twist it and make it my own. Like that, there's so much that you can do. And so we really want you guys to like develop that skill of like seeing the potential in something. And part of that only will come with, first of all, reps, just like taking the time to do it, but also with just being crystal clear on your brand. So if you're going through like the Cozy Creator Plan and you're like filling out that workbook, that's really going to help you, especially as you go into like the Brand Builder Plan. Then you will even dive way deeper on your brand and get way more clarity. And then going into go-to, like there's level by level, kind of like an onion. We're going to keep peeling it back and we're going to keep adding a little bit more depth. That's what you have to work with here. So this next one is like home features to look for if you really want to build long-term wealth. So you see how this one looks so much more like luxury versus like the other ones are more like casual mom brand or whatever. You can make all of these little tiny changes that have huge impact on the end result.
Before we got to this slide, Allie said in the chat, I live in an area that isn't known for neighborhoods. It's weird. So you notice the beginning of these, we're talking about neighborhoods. And that's where we're talking about getting that modern agent eye. It's like a filter. Like I can see through this what my version will be. That's going to take practice. It's going to take skill. It's going to take time and continuously consuming, looking at the website, looking at the content, scrolling long enough to see what else could this be? What else could I come up with? But home features to look for if you really want to build long-term wealth. So like this is a totally different style and angle, but we want you to get to the point. Like my goal for you here at Modern Agent, like I said, is to show up like a content creator. So as you improve your skill set with how you create content, how you see content, the filter you run it through mentally before deciding like, this is for me, this isn't for me, this is how I could make this work for me, or maybe not. Like you're going to get so good at that it's going to be just so crystal clear at some point that you won't even need to use content as a crutch. Like I've seen many members and like, we love creating content. So we love ideas, but people say things like, so we have more content like blank. And I want to say, if you have that idea, go create the content because the way it will come through you naturally when you open your camera and record it, like unfiltered versus like, okay, some like Randy, create this post, create the graphic, put the words, all that doesn't match perfectly. Like you're going to get that skill developed so freaking fast. So I saw someone else in the comments, Addison said data versus lifestyle would be a great post idea. It would be. What I want you to do today, Addison, literally after this call, you don't have a whiteboard, get out a piece of paper, write data, write lifestyle, and write, here's why I sell the lifestyle. No one cares about the data. Give 5 examples, only 5. Face to cam, hold up your piece of paper. It doesn't even matter if the words are backwards, but you're going to walk them through the 2 lists and a comparison of why you sell the lifestyle. That's going to make you a really good agent. That would be a great piece of content. It would look amazing, and we will probably make it for the next month. But it will be even better when you do that because no one else can do it. And someone's going to stop and say, what is she talking about? They're going to lean a little bit closer. They're going to take the time to listen. But if it's a carousel, they may just scroll by. And we love carousel posts. We're not saying we don't. Today's Marketing Girl podcast is all about these things. It's really, really powerful to pair with today's content workshop, actually. Speaking of, should we listen to both? But I want you to just, instead of waiting or looking for that piece of content, just go do it. If it's fresh in your mind, it feels inspiring, go create it. You could even like tag or link Jason Tartick's dog post, reel in your reel, like how you can link a reel now. So I can say, see, here's an example. They're looking for a yard for their dog, ultimately. So that's what we want you to do. That's where we want you to get. Not because our content isn't good, but what makes it real, the only way it can be really good is because it's yours. That's the only way. You could post every single thing exactly as we have it. And if you don't do anything besides that, nothing will work. It won't work for you. You have to have the personality. You have to have the content creator characteristics for these things to really land. The personal brand is what makes it land, right?
Exactly. So is this like clicking for you guys as we're going through this? Are you thinking to yourself, oh, this is what mine could be? If so, I'd love to see it. I'm honestly thinking if it were me, I'm thinking about how when we moved to Columbia City, we we talked to my husband's a football coach. And so we talked to one mom who had 4 boys go through our program. And she specifically told me, don't make the same mistake I did and buy a house that's on the top of the county line where you're driving to the school for 30 minutes every single day, multiple times a day. So for me, I'm thinking like I would say like if you're like neighborhoods to look in if your kids play sports, you know what I mean? And then like I would play for the high school or ever. And then I would name like all the neighborhoods that are right around the schools. That way, like it would be a short drive for them, right? That's super relatable. That's much more memorable. There's probably not another agent in my community that would post that unless they're also a coach's wife, which there are a few. But it's just like my angle, my twist, and it's my people who already are connected with me. That's why that would work. So if you guys end up doing something with us, I'd love to see it in the Facebook group so that we can kind of see everybody's brands are so different, but all of them work.
I want to respond to Kaylin. She said, I get worried about fair housing when talking to my ideal client, moms and families. Okay, the easiest flip for this is to come from your perspective. So if you say, why I love living here as a mom of 4, or why I would look at this neighborhood because I have 3 dogs. Like that, if you come from the I perspective, it takes the fair housing out of it. If you say this house is for families with 3 kids, 2 girls, 1, like that's not okay. But if you flip it to I or my or your own lens, that changes all of that. And that's also branding you, like the example Kayla just gave. Like if where I would live if my kids played sports, right? That is only something that I could say. But that is obviously we are not the legal fair housing team. So you can check with, I'm just going to say this for my own safety. Check with your attorney or your broker to be sure on how you should do that. But if you pull it through your own lens, you're not pinpointing a house or area necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to do post 23, 2 things I'm loving right now. You guys, this post is so easy. Everyone should do this one today because I want you to do it without overthinking it. So if I asked you right now, what are 2 things you're loving? Like it could be a show, a podcast, a book, a local thing. It could be a home feature, something real estate, something, an accessory, a color. Like what is something you're loving? Like it could be like right now, I'm obsessed. The show The Madison, so good, so good. And I'm also obsessed with the color cobalt blue. I don't know why. It's just like I'm obsessed right now. I just bought a swimsuit in that color. I bought 2 shirts in that color. Abby Jimenez's new book, Sweet. Oh, punctuation. Abby Jimenez's new book, Sweet Potato Bowls. Those are 2 separate things.
I love it. Brown sugar in my latte, Why Women Kill show. I've been wanting to watch that show. That was so good.
I haven't seen that. Travel and gardening. Okay. Even travel and gardening, Betsy, I would encourage you to get even more specific. Like, what about travel or where travel? And then what about gardening and like a tool or like loving that I'm finally getting to lay new dirt in my garden for the season, like something really specific. So if you open this post, obviously you have to put your own picture here, right? But you don't have to be doing any of these things in the photo if you don't want to. Just grab one you already have. And here's another example with your brand. If, for example, your dog is part of your brand, you could have this main picture could just be you walking your dog, even if this has nothing to do with your dog. If mom life is part of your brand, this could be you and your kids or you and one of them. Or like I do a lot of like mirror selfies and Henry will be like in the mirror, but I don't necessarily show his face in it. But like I could use that, like just something really simple. Or I did this post actually once and I was holding Henry. He was quite a bit more of a baby at the time, but I was holding him and I was holding my coffee. And one of the things I said I was loving was this like lounge that I was wearing in the post. So like you can make it related directly to this cover photo or just pick a cover photo and do 2 things I'm loving. So for this example, honey lavender latte from a local place that's popping in the chocolate of the s'more, right? The local spot. And then writing offers from the patio. So this is how you can bring in real estate. So this post is full blown s'more basically. And then you have a hey, I'm your name. Now, one thing I would do on this post for sure is I would change the fonts to whatever like fits your brand. Just pick a font or 2 that you can go on Pinterest and search font pairings, pick one you like, run with it for now. And once you get more comfy and at home in your brand, you can always change it later. Once you get into the brand builder phase of the custom plan, you can regroup then. But for now, just pick something you can stay consistent with and so that your content doesn't look completely random in every post. But maybe you just
There's another version of this one too. If you keep scrolling, there's an alternate version that has a more like playful font.
There's always surprises in our content. Let's say you want to make like 2 things I'm loving right now. Like that's your brand color and that just gives it such a pop, right? Like so simple. And here's another example then. Iced matcha from local place, writing offers from the patio. So like both of these looks entirely different. Also too, like we always say, like once you build up your content library, like we don't want you to have to go take photos in the moment. However, this post is like a really good example of like, these are so easy to just quickly do, right? Like maybe this will encourage you tomorrow, you're going to go grab that coffee, take the photo, or you're going to go walk the dog, take the photo. And now you have that to add to your folder.
Absolutely.
Drinks on a patio, Trisha said, and Rooster on HBO. I haven't seen that. My tulips blooming in the rare summer feeling days. It's Desperate Housewives level good, Kayla.
The Why Women Kill show. It looks really so
awesome.
It's so fun. Thank you guys so much. We love spending time with you.
We will see you in the Facebook group.
Sounds good.
For the photo challenge next week. There's not a live, but we'll see you for the photo challenge on the podcast, in the group, in the members, or on the member site, everywhere. So can't wait to see your photos. We also, I will say one more thing. We have something super fun we're doing along with the photo challenge. So we pay attention next week when we release this, and we'll share the details of how you could potentially get your photos featured in the Modern Agent content and see how they look with our content. It's going to be so fun. All right. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.